Hello. I'm in a bit of a strange place. Well, it's not too strange over there. That's the the current utopia of business, otherwise known as Canary Wharf, which I'm going to be heading to later. I'm kind of exploring today the Docklands area and trying to come up with a thesis of a new form of postmodern hypnotism, not for use by myself. Oh God, this car coming. Not for use by myself, but it's come to my attention that there's some variously new techniques that are being used to control your mind. Not so much mine, hopefully. It's all very maritime around here. Look, there's some people going on a nice boat journey. It's quite idyllic around here, actually, until you start looking really carefully at some of the symbols and the signs. When I was looking up sort of where I was going to go today, I noticed something on the map which I just had to come down to have a look at and to show you, because it's a little bit weird. It's the beautiful Millennium Dome. Even the foliage is adapting to the, postmodern imperial project. But yeah, I have to be careful not to loiter around here, even though the scenery kind of makes you want to loiter. A strange temple, huh? A weird temple that says sort of keep out and danger, no loitering, all of that kind of stuff. You were on CCTV. It's really bizarre, actually. When I spotted it on Google Maps, I was like, what the hell is that? So I had to come and have a look. It's quite a high security building, except nobody ever really works here. It's the machinery for storm surge protection. This building here apparently protects millions and millions of pounds of real estate in Canary Wharf by protecting them from flooding. But it sort of protects itself by using, iconography or whatever you want to call it. You really, really start going down a rabbit hole when you research this building, by the way. The architect was a man called John Outram. And if you look up John Outram on Wikipedia, and you look at the further links or the external links or whatever, take you to his website, or various websites, and it's all exceedingly strange. All about ancient mysticism. Weird things. The front gate of this thing is really strange. Just in case you were thinking that the thing on top is not an eye, it looks like an engine or something, but it's definitely an eye, because just look at this front gate. Can you tell that they're watching you? No doubt there's a little guy in a room somewhere with his CCTV camera, thinking there's some kind of blogger outside. What's he doing? Isle of Dogs pumping station. If you look at the writings of John Outram, who by all accounts possibly took too much LSD in the 1960s, possibly. He says some really interesting things. One of the things he says, you can actually even see me, one of the things he says is that he talks about something called the cancellus, that in ancient architecture, to mark the end of a walkway, or to mark the edge of a pathway, they would use a diagonal trellis called a cancellis. Yay! And it's a sort of diagonal line, just like you'd have on a no stopping sign or a no smoking sign. And essentially what he was talking about was how architecture can be used in a subliminal way to control behaviour. Obviously very relevant for that building there. And of course in the ancient world, with success in civilization, of course they get the perils of overpopulation and chaos. So what they were doing in the ancient world was using very simple iconographic things that subliminally calmed and controlled behaviour. And it's my thesis in this video that it's still happening now. So now in the Westfield shopping centre in Stratford, a wonderful utopia of shopping. And I bet you thought, when you go shopping in a place like this, maybe if you're Christmas shopping, that your thoughts and your actions are all your own, and what you end up buying is exactly what you wanted to buy. Well, they are creating a system here, and in just about every other big shopping centre, to take that pesky thing called will out of your hands, and producing essentially a thing that you could call mind control, but you could also call wallet control. It's a system called Mobile Location Analytics, MLA. And on first inspection, it's quite, innocuous. Nothing to worry about. All they're doing is fitting out all the shops and everything with sensors that can accurately measure where you are at any time. What they really want to know is how often you go into a shop, where you go when you're within the shop, where you loiter, as in they're really interested in what catches your attention and what you're interested in, and they're interested in whether or not you return to the same shop. Now the problem with this, you could say, it's just data, and they depersonalise it, don't they? So they're not really tracking you, they're just interested in where you go. There's no harm with that. It makes their places more efficient. Well, there is a harm with it. You see, because when they're interested in the science of what attracts your attention and what makes you return and what makes you buy under certain conditions, is pushing forward the science of hypnosis in the shopping environment. Essentially, with the study of this data, it will push forward, essentially, and promote various compositions that work automatically with the human psyche without us really having any ability to do anything about it. Obviously, some people are more easily hypnotized than others, but essentially it means that you're just in a kind of an exotic, hypnotic environment, and increasingly so in these big shopping centres. Now, they're just in the beginning of this now. They've only been doing it for a couple of years. I'm sure they haven't really honed in too much on the science of it. But, there's already a problem of people spending too much money, especially at Christmas, money they don't have. And increasingly, those sort of people that feel like they have a moral obligation to spend money at Christmas time, I just wonder whether or not they're being exploited for their mental frailty. There's a funny object here, very futuristic. ArcelorMittal Orbit, very futuristic. I guess back in the 1950s and 1960s they assumed that there's be a crazy scientific object like that in every town. What they possibly didn't realise in the 50s and 60s, when they were first encountering the meme of bugging devices, sensors that could be secreted in rooms, what they possibly didn't realise is that 50 years later there'd be a sensor in every room. The Internet of Things, the smart television, the smart fridge, the smart kettle, there'll be a sensor in your car to show where you're going and whether or not you're breaking the speed limit, so it can dob you in automatically to the authorities. And that every lamppost, as you go to these scientific environments, would have a CCTV camera using location analytics to see where you're loitering. And if too many people loiter in a certain area, that'll be logged and studied in the science of human behaviour. Essentially, what they really want in environments like this is just a set of wallet-easy automatons. They're not interested in humanity. There's no clearer signal of the smart cities agenda coming into force than the environment of Canary Wharf. There are so many people who work here. There's so much tendency for chaos to reign rather than order. Everyone is tracked in their movements and their behaviours and where they loiter, etc. And they're nudged from their natural chaotic behaviour into a more efficient, machine-like state of being. Of course, a lot of the architecture around here, like the pyramid on top of One Canada Square there, and what are these sort of faux Mayan temples that are littered around on the landscape? Because objects like this, when the authentic versions were built in the ancient world, they were essentially a constant reminder on the landscape of the presence of God, a kind of control mechanism to control and not subdue people, but keep them peaceful and ordered, because they're being watched at all times by God. Of course, these objects here, I'm talking about the same God that they were talking about, but the newfound digital God. I mean, just look at the statue there behind me. You can definitely tell that it's about looking up towards the all-knowing, all-perceiving ruler. What really worries me about this sort of thing is that surely it's very obvious that the need to create all of these systems that create order just shows us that the natural state of a human being is that of disorder and of chaos. And of course, humans actually like chaos, they like spontaneity, they like things that are unpredictable, but that doesn't necessarily work very well for business. So I just wonder if we're sort of being pushed to be more machine-like, more like efficiently operating robots. Isn't that just destroying our humanity?